Hey besties and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be talking about K-pop propaganda that I'm not falling for. I saw others talking about this and I wanted to express my own opinions as well. Now, let's get started with the video. Ever since the whole NewJeans vs Hybe thing came out, there's been this smear campaign against NewJeans till this day and I never understood it. Now I don't have that much knowledge about their entire court case and everything they said, but I feel like you all keep failing to understand that they're teenagers who were basically groomed and manipulated by NewJeans and got casted aside by her when things got serious and they had to fend for themselves. I'm pretty sure there's things they could have done better or avoided, but y'all acting like they're the villains of the story and having the audacity to side with Hybe, a major company that doesn't need the sympathy or support of anyone, is actually insane. Like I said, there's some things they probably shouldn't have done during this legal battle with their company, but did y'all seriously expect them to know exactly what to do with little to no guidance? Be so for real. I don't know about you all, but unless an artist did something terrible, I'm usually gonna side with artists as opposed to a multi-million-dollar entertainment company that sees their idols as replaceable and money objects. Also, I really hope those girls can at least heal from this and keep doing what they love, because they deserve it. Before you older K-pop fans start coming at me and giving me a 2-page essay about their accomplishments and impact, I'm into older groups myself and understand what they've done, but I never understood their hype. Like, don't get me wrong, I might be a hater, but I can't deny that they have some hits and they are extremely talented. However, I feel like the fact that they created the first Lightstick and G-Dragon being really artistic or whatever blinds y'all from all the weird shit they've done in the past, not even including that evil-ass Burning Sun scandal. Like, are we forgetting that 2 of them did blackface, said the N-word, and wore cultural braids like a million times? At this point, the only one from that group that I'm cool with is T.O.P. Obviously I know they aren't the only group to have done problematic and racist shit, and it's unfortunately a common thing with many groups, but I feel like there's better artists that can take their title. In my personal opinion, I feel like a group such as SHINee could have that title, but it just feels like you all make Big Bang seem as they have the best discography and performances when I just don't see it. I know many people aren't going to agree with me and that's fine, but I just never understood what they're praised so much. When I first got into K-pop, I thought it was pretty cool how there's different versions of albums with a whole new set of photos and concepts, which I still think is so cool, but it's gotten out of hand in recent years. Why the fuck does a group with more than 5 members need their own version in addition to the 2 different albums concepts? That's ridiculous and just a waste really. We've been used to 1 at most 2 versions of an album for so long, so we definitely don't need 100 different versions. Also, I understand some people wanna buy multiple albums to help the group, but buying 10 of the same album is overboard and honestly isn't that big of a deal. I'm saying that as someone who collects albums, but I pretty much buy ones that I actually like and would genuinely listen to or display it so it's being put to use. Y'all just buy them and store them away, like you're just wasting your own money honestly. Obviously I have no problem with ballads, and I know that apparently the Korean public favor ballads much more, but I just don't understand why there basically needs to be a ballad near the end of every album in K-pop. I think there are many groups who do amazing with ballads and actually adds something to the album or concept, but there's some albums that simply don't need them and actually takes away from the concept. For example, if there's an album where the theme is experimental or high energy, then it doesn't need a generic ballad. Even groups like EXO, who are known for their beautiful ballads, they still have a couple albums without them because they know it's not needed. While I understand that there are many albums that don't do this, I think that K-pop as a whole needs to think outside the box more and change up the formula. I understand that K-pop is a genre that's way more than just music and is heavily focused on performances, visuals, and overall image, but obviously music is a huge part as well. Idols can look good and dance good all they want, but the music is what actually sells and is what people hear at the end of the day. Not every single idol can have legendary vocals with 10 plus years of training, and some idols are simple tone dead sometimes, but I'm getting a little tired of the excuse of well, vocals aren't that important anyways. Girl, yes it is, because I'm into a K-pop group who make music. If I didn't care about how the music sounded and didn't think that mattered, then I'd just watch dance group or watch their performances on mute. I love creative concepts and impressive choreography, but I can't see all that when I'm listening to their songs. Of course dancing and overall image so be considered, but vocals are always gonna be more important because I don't want to listen to a group where there's only one decent vocalist. Again, not every single one needs to be main vocalist material, but remember that there are still singers that need to sing and do it well. There's nothing wrong with being really into a group, and there's things many of us do, such as having posters on our walls, collecting merch, listening to their music, liking edits and watching funny videos. I mean, I can go on and on about typical fan culture, and all those things are perfectly fine until you start dedicating your entire life to them as if they're gods or something, cause at that point, you have an addiction. If you're so invested into a group or an idol to the point where you'll neglect basic hygiene and other priorities in your life just for them when they'll probably never even see your efforts, is crazy. You can be a big fan of K-pop or anything all you want as long as you have a balance. Ask yourself, do you have actual hobbies? Do you complete any tasks you need to? Have you gone outside at all? Have you even taken a break from them to simply wash your ass? If you answered no, then you're way too deep into a group. Maybe it's because I've grown up and learned about things more, but it's so important to make sure you're actually living your life instead of living solely for some idols that don't even acknowledge you. I don't go on Twitter, so I'm not so familiar with fan wars, but I've seen some people use chart numbers as a way to argue about how their faves are better, which I find so stupid and useless. I've also seen this when people are trying to defend their faves' music or talents and say, well, they've been number 2 for weeks and yours haven't. Like, girl, maybe that did something in 2018, but nobody really cares that much anymore. It makes no sense to me either, because an artist can be incredibly successful, but that doesn't mean they make good music or that I need to like them. For example, if someone told me that Red Velvet isn't big on the charts anymore, do you think that's gonna hurt me or that I'll stop listening to them? Girl, I don't give a fuck, because charts don't mean much to me. Yeah, it's impressive, but nobody needs to like or dislike an artist just because of where they are on Billboard Hot 100. These arguments are just so tired too. Like, come up with something new, please. Of course, I know that many idols are just naturally thin and sometimes have a hard time gaining weight, which I totally understand, and that's not the issue. The issue is when an idol is already thin or just simply at an average weight for their age and you see people criticizing them and telling them to lose weight. Then when that idol is severely skinny to where it's unhealthy, people will comment how they finally look good. Like what? Like I said, there's nothing wrong with being skinny and any body type is valid, but it's so fucked up to see y'all talking about how an idol changed or needs to die just because they gain weight, especially in a healthy way. I'm not saying skinny idols shouldn't be normal, but let's stop pressuring them to stay skinny to the point where it becomes concerning. I know that it's a great feeling to become successful after struggling, and it's always nice to see people who work hard towards their goals, but some of you all practically have an obsession when it comes to idols' struggle stories. This is to the point where y'all feel like if an idol has parents who are well off, or maybe the company is already popular when a group debuted, you feel like they don't deserve that success, and it's so weird to me. I think a lot of us saw how groups such as BTS started from a very low position and gradually built their way up and are now one of, if not, the most successful K-pop group right now, and that's inspiring. I love a good underdog story, and I'm usually rooting for people like that. But not everyone has to go through hell and back just to be deserving of their success. Practically every single idol has worked extremely hard, since we know how the training period is. I remember when TXT debuted and people kept discarding them all because they didn't have the same struggles that BTS did, which is crazy to think about. I think people should put in the work for their goals, but they don't need to suffer in order to be deserving of their wins. I haven't really seen much of this go around until groups like itzy started getting extreme hate for one quote-unquote bad comeback. Honestly, it's pretty sad seeing how quick people switch because I remember when sneakers came out and all of a sudden, people assume that their career is over. It's perfectly okay to dislike a comeback, but the way you all just give up on them and don't any try to give them another chance is crazy. This is why I think that itzy has never really gotten back up to that level they used to be at in their rookie years, all because one annoying song tainted their entire image as a group, which is insane to think about. Obviously I know they're still successful and loved, but I don't really see anyone talking about as much. For example, I didn't really like Twice's Set Me Free comeback aside from Moonlight Sunrise, but I didn't just drop them because they released One Spark and Strategy the next year and I loved it. I just think people need to understand that one bad comeback doesn't mean that they'll never be capable of making good music again. This is kinda funny, not gonna lie, cause the way y'all truly believe that these adult idols have never even dated before is crazy. Even though we all know teenagers tend to date, it's more understandable to assume that they don't date, especially if they're rookies, but assuming that most idols that are anywhere from their mid-20s and older don't date? Be so for real. I get that the idol industry is very demanding and tiring, but y'all need to understand that just because they say they're single and their company has restrictions, that doesn't mean they'll listen. They still have or will have a love life or even just a hookup, and that's okay because they're grown. I don't think every single idol right now is dating, but even if they're, who the fuck actually cares? As long as they're in a consenting and closely aged relationship or fling, then I really don't care, and we should stop making it such a scandal when it's revealed for them to be with someone. It's honestly insane to me when people say that second gen was easier, cause do you all not remember when Taeyeon from Girls' Generation almost got kidnapped on stage and half of TVXQ nearly got poisoned and murdered from SAE sayings? Now second gen was better in many ways, and in a sense, the interactions were a bit easier. Now I didn't get into K-pop until 2017, but I watch a lot of older K-pop content and stories, so I remember seeing how both female and male idols could just hang out and be friendly towards each other at events, and they weren't scared to do it either, so I can see how people might think it was a little bit easier in that case. However, there was a huge beef between Girls' Generation and NewJeans fans. Many idols were close to being captured by fans, and there were so many controversies from idols other than being ignorant or dating, like some of these were lies that messed up a group or entire crimes. I love second gen so much and I wish I could have gotten into it at that time, but girl, it was not easier than the current generations. I know that her being an amazing vocalist isn't some type of propaganda since she's been receiving criticism, but I do think that the whole people are using her vocals as an excuse for a smear campaign is ridiculous. Now, like many other idols, I'm pretty sure that she does receive unnecessary hate, but when it comes to her vocal abilities, I don't think it's unnecessary at all. I'm not a vocal expert or anything, but I think we can all agree that girl strains and yells too fucking much. Like every time I see her, she's hooting and hollering, but not in a good way. It's kinda sad in a way, because she has the potential to become a great singer in her group, but she just needs to be vocally trained better. I feel like she's one of those people that think the louder and higher I sing, the better, but babe, that's not how it works. I understand that she's still pretty young, and I do agree that people should dial back a bit and not attack her, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with giving someone proper criticism, especially when they need it. This just shows how y'all be saying anything without really knowing the context or meaning behind it, because why are you calling a 16-year-old mother because she was singing Live or did a hair flip? Please be so serious. I'm not saying we shouldn't praise idols in a creative way, because that should always be welcomed, but saying that you all really need to understand what a word means before you say it, because mother isn't the equivalent of calling someone gorgeous. There's an art to holding that title, there's a certain type of energy you need to radiate, and most of the time, there's a certain amount of experience you need to have too. For example, the OG mothers of K-pop, at least to me, are Boa, Lee Hyori, Kahi, Seulgi, Jihyo, practically anyone from Girls' Generation or Kara. Did you see the vision? Calling an idol that just debuted mother for being pretty and that's it loses its meaning. Even non-female idols such as Bumidi from's Love radiates mother energy, and it's clear to see. I understand not everyone has knowledge about ballroom and overall gay culture, and I need to brush up more on mine as well, but stop saying words just because you hear it on social media. This is one of the main things that I never understood about K-pop, because why is it that if I don't stream a song 100 times every day for a week, then I'm a fake fan? Girl, get out of my face with that mess. I understand why fan would wanna support and stream so their faves can win, but I'm not gonna use my time by watching the same music video over and over again, especially if I don't even love the music video. Similar to my being fully invested into a group point, you shouldn't be dedicating your entire time to just listening and watching the same thing on repeat just so they can possibly win something. This just shows how many of y'all only care about numbers and wins instead of actual quality and creativity. Like, yes, I love it when my faves win, but it needs to be from a release that's actually enjoyable and something I genuinely want to listen to on repeat. And that's the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you'd want, and have a good day. Bye besties.